Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with random reviews from the still under construction Overflow room. There we go. Or should I say reconstruction? But we're getting there. It's okay. We're getting there. Oh boy, we're still working on Mahler, aren't we? Yes, as we move backwards through the alphabet. Thank God all the stuff in the overflow room is okay. It's only the ceiling and the floor that were destroyed in the recent flood. Okay, here we go. Symphony number 5 with Michael Gielen and the SWR Symphony Orchestra of Baden-Baden und Freiburg. This is a surprisingly uninteresting performance. It's good. All of his Mahler is good. It's very solid, but it doesn't have kind of the intensity, the creepiness, the lavish care for detail that makes sense that we find in his recording of the Fifth. It's all right, but the Fifth seems to be a cipher for most conductors, and I'm not sure Gielen has quite solved it. Although it's like I said, it's a good performance, just not transcendental. Oh well. It's on SWR Music, which at that point was working with Hensler. Now we have Mahler 9 with Ancerl. We've talked about this performance a million times. I have several of these. It's always good to keep a few handy, just in case company arrives or something like that. One of the great Mahler 9s. No more need be said. It's in the list of one of the greatest recordings ever. So there you are. Oh, this is wonderful. Das Lied von der Erde with Reiner. Maureen Forrester and Richard Lewis in the Chicago Symphony. This never got much attention for some reason. Reiner only did the fourth and this. And it was released like on Gold Seal with really grubby sound, but they cleaned it up in this Living Stereo DVD reissue or whatever it's called, DSD, what's one of those things. Multi-channel things, which I don't care about, but the stereo sound is much better too. And it is a splendidly played and beautifully sung performance that does not deserve its neglect. Not at all. Surprisingly good. And here is the Klemperer Das Lied, one of the Reference recordings with Christa Ludwig and Fritz Wunderlich. This is with the Philharmonia and the New Philharmonia because it was made over a long period of time, during which time the Philharmonia was disbanded by Walter Legg, and it was reformed as the New Philharmonia, which is now, once again, just the plain Philharmonia because they got their name back after Legg died or whatever happened. Anyway, it's one of the great ones, without a doubt, especially for the singing. Klemperer, he's a little slow in the first movement. He's fine the rest of the time. But wow, the singing of Wunderlich and Ludwig is just extraordinary, phenomenally, fabulously wonderful. Oh, Songs of a Wayfarer and Kindertotenlieder. This is a Japanese RCA Boston Symphony Munch edition recording. Volume 29, The Songs of a Wayfarer and the Kindertotenlieder with Maureen Forrester. And it's a classic for all Maureen Forrester fans. She was a wonderful singer. She's best known for popping up on all those Bach Guild and Handel recordings on Vanguard, and also for her Mahler, which she did amazingly. She was a Canadian mezzo-soprano who really, really knew how to do this stuff. So this is fun. And I got that because, well, it was a singleton Japanese reissue that everybody should have hundreds of course. Then we got this thing, Oh, Sinopoli. Sinopoli doing Mahler 9 and Death and Transfiguration with the Staatskapelle Dresden. Now, this Death and Transfiguration is not as crazy slow as his last one. He did one that was like nearly half an hour. This is 26 minutes and 57 seconds. It's still on the slow side. But the Mahler 9th, Oy vey, 32 minutes and 57 seconds for the first movement, 17 minutes for the second, 14 and a bit for the Rondo Burlesque, and 29:19 for the finale. I got it for the Staatskapelle Dresden. Sinopoli's Mahler was always a little bit strange. He sort of went whole hog for the late romantic, decadent, tired, dreary and some of it was interesting sometimes when he did that. It's sort of interesting here. It's wonderful hearing this orchestra play it, but it's a strange Mahler 9. It really is. I mean, it's a collector's item. Symphony number 5, and Das Lied von der Erde with Tennstedt. Okay, number 5. Well, the 5th is a good performance. It was pre-digital, thank God, so it sounds better. It's a little bit on the sluggish side in places, but it was one of his earlier Mahlers, and it's a decent one. He doesn't let the symphony get away from him. Let's put it that way. The Das Lied von der Erde is, again, it's a fine performance that seems to get absolutely no attention. And it was recorded, later I think than all of his other Mahlers. I don't know. It just seemed to vanish into oblivion from the moment it was issued. It's with Agnes Balza and Klaus Koenig, who sing very well. And I like it. I've always liked it. And I don't understand why it doesn't get any love from anybody. Mahler, Adagietto, Les Preludes, Brahms 3, and Prometheus. So these are all Mengelberg Concertgebouw recordings on Opus Cura. So you've got Beethoven, the Creatures of Prometheus, Liszt, Les Preludes, the Brahms Third Symphony, and then last but not least, the Adagietto from Mahler Symphony Number 5, recorded in 1926. There's also, I believe, a video of this thing happening, which is very interesting because it's 7 minutes and 10 seconds long, which is about half the time it usually takes. Back in 1926. It's a very flowing, it's a lovely performance, keeping the piece in proportion as a small adagietto. So this is worth hearing. And it was done at a time when Mengelberg was still close enough to Mahler to not have become completely bizarre, as he later did in his 1939 recording of the Fourth Symphony, which is like all over the place. It's ridiculous. So this is fun. I keep it under M for Mahler. It could be under Brahms or Beethoven or Liszt or whatever. But, I always put these things under the composer I'm most likely to look at. Well, here's a performance we haven't paid much attention to lately, but it's quite marvelous. The Mahler 6 with the Philadelphia Orchestra and Eschenbach conducting. Eschenbach's Mahler is wonderfully, wonderfully intense and romantic and all over the place, but usually not mattered to the point of being offensive. And this Mahler 6 is extraordinarily intense, amazingly well played, well recorded. It's really beautiful. And you've got the Philadelphia Orchestra from Eschenbach's period there. So this is on Undine. I'm not sure what happened to this recording, if it even still exists, but it's first class. It really is a terrific Mahler 6th. And we also get as a filler. You need a filler. The piano quartet movement in A minor from 1876. The only issue with this is probably the slow tempo for the Andante, which is 17 minutes and 23 seconds. It's not as slow as other people do it, but it is a bit on the slow side. Everything else is relatively normal, and boy, do they play. Very, very intense and exciting. As is this really fine Mahler too. Yeah, this is terrific. And the Adagio from the 10th, actually, which is not a bad bonus, with Atlanta and Joel Levy. Levy's Mahler came in two varieties, either extremely effective and sharp and almost neoclassical in its approach. In other words, it was not not like Eschenbach. It was not the let it all hang out romantic approach, but it was very disciplined and exciting, kind of like Maris Jansen sometimes did. Or it was just dull as ditch water. I mean, he just was, sort of counting notes. And you could never tell what you were going to get, but this second is really fine. Of course, you have the wonderful Atlanta Symphony chorus, and it's worth listening to more than once. Yeah, so I kept it for that purpose. And there we have it, a nice pile of Mahler symphony performances with some real classics. So keep on listening, friends. Take care.